Hello and back. Okay. Hello and welcome back to Leo Tries. Today I'm going to be talking about my number one advice for people with anxiety. This piece of advice has made a huge difference in my life, which is why I would like to share it with you guys today. First of all, a disclaimer. I struggle with particular types of anxiety, but definitely not all of them. So this video is based on the things that work for me, and while I do think that it applies to many types of anxiety, remember that we are all individuals and what works for me might not work for you. As I mentioned in my last video, an anxiety disorder is when you experience an excess of anxiety than is needed to deal with your situation. When you have this disorder, you tend to feel anxious very often, and when you do, it can be very intense. There are good days and bad days. For me, I struggle most when I have a busy day that requires my focus to be in a lot of different places at once. When I first began to feel this way, my first response was to avoid stressful things. It worked to an extent, but also resulted in me doing less and less. I avoided all my responsibilities, and this had major ramifications in my life. I knew I was doing something wrong, but I had gotten into this habit of running away, and I didn't know how to deal with the feelings of anxiety when they came. I did this for a long time, and even now it can still be a struggle. I went through a really tough time, and I needed to take a long look at myself in order to understand the problem. I had to realize that I saw myself as a victim of my mental illness. I had accepted that I couldn't have the same quality of life as the people around me. Not only that, but I thought I deserved it. I realized that I needed to accept myself and that I am different to others. Although I am a normal person in a lot of ways, I now know that I need more than others in terms of self-care. So this is essentially where I come to my advice. This is how I began looking after myself to ensure that I can cope with my life. I know myself well enough to know what things stress me out, and I will mention some examples soon. The way I have learned to combat anxiety is to ensure that I balance my feelings of stress with allocated time to recover from my stress. When I know I have something stressful planned, I pair it with something calm or peaceful. This counteracts my moment of stress very well, but only if I do it often. A band-aid will not help if I have an amputated limb, and 5 minutes of calmness does not help me if my whole day or my whole week is stressful. Some examples of things that I struggle with are being on time. I have a real pet peeve of being late. It drives me absolutely crazy. Driving. Work. For most people, I think work is their main source of stress. For me, it is only a part, but I think that it is important to talk about these stresses as well. And here are some activities that I consciously include in my day-to-day planning in order to counter my anxiety. Remember that there are lots of ways to do this. These are examples of a few things that I do, but there are many more possibilities. Breathers. I take a moment to myself to collect my thoughts and calm myself before entering a stressful situation. Gardening. I never used to be very much into gardening. I even killed cactuses by the dozen when I was younger. I now have a small flower garden outside, and I make sure that I visit it at least once a day. I usually take about 10 minutes to water everything and to make sure that no snails have laid siege to my flowers. It may seem very basic, but it can be immensely therapeutic, especially as you get more invested over time. Sitting on the grass. Taking a pause to focus on myself once or twice a day helps me immensely, and doing it outside is even better. Paying attention to pets. This is a form of unconditional love mixed with some physical activity. It's good for you and it's good for your pets. General alone time. Even work time can fall within this category, when there's no pressure to perform socially. I listen to music, I write about how I feel and what I'm thinking about. Self-care time. This can include face masks, long baths or showers, or even stretching. Again, these are personal habits that work for me, but work out your calming activities and work towards implementing them into your life. Lastly, I want to mention that for me, these are things that are very important in my life. I do multiple of these items per day, and when I plan my week or my month in advance, I do my best to involve these in my planning. Some of my friends and my family are aware of these breaks that I take. Others don't really notice. When people ask me what I'm doing or why, I do my best to be open, but you don't need to justify taking time to ensure that you are mentally prepared to deal with whatever you need to. If you suffer from an anxiety disorder, taking time for yourself, like I've described in this video, isn't always enough to counteract the feelings of anxiety. You may need medication, therapy, or other tools to deal with your challenges. The most important thing to take from this video, if not the advice, is that it's okay to need more or different things in order to feel normal. Life is about learning to play the hand you're dealt. Don't let something like mental illness stand in the way of what you want. You can do it. Thank you so much for watching my video today. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section below if there's anything else that you want to hear from me, if there's anything you want to add or anything that you want to ask. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe and click that bell notification so that you know when my videos come out, and I will hopefully be seeing you guys next time.